So it's for use by everyone. So that sounds great. Thank you for arranging that.
Well, you can get some diversity.
Yeah. No, Fordham has been really lucky in our applicant pool from Turkey in,
yeah,
I would say, I mean, I started at Fordham. I've worked at Fordham for a really long time, but probably over the last 10, 15 years, it's just become an incredibly strong applicant pool. We're blessed. So we have some really great students that have applied and come to Fordham. So we'd love to keep it up.
So do we. Also, we love to help students get international experience because that's one way to extend your opportunities in the world and get a high quality education outside of Turkey. So if anybody wants to leave, we're happy to help them do that. I am not just saying that right after the election at all. Sorry. I'm just dropping a couple links.
Sure. Yep. Shall we start? Go past? Yeah. Okay. So let's begin. Well, first of all, thank you all for participating in this event. Just one interesting fact, which I did not know, but it seems that there are more than 800 languages spoken in New York City. The Big Apple, as it's famously known, is really a big cultural melting pot. Very soon, high school students in Turkey will finish their classes and go on to summer vacations, during which they'll relax and enjoy themselves. But within the summer, they'll also attend summer schools, conduct research. Where do I get the echo from? Anyway, summer schools, conduct research, work as interns, and all for expanding their knowledge. But before the students disperse for the summer, we as admittance believe that they should learn more about schools and programs so that they are aware of their options. With this aim in mind, this evening, Monica Esser, Director of International Initiatives in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, is going to talk to us about Fordham University. So without further ado, I give the podium to our guest speaker, Monica.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me tonight and today, this afternoon in New York, but tonight where you all are, I think. It's really a pleasure to have the opportunity to share some information with you. I've been asked to do a presentation about Fordham University, and I will start that in a second. But I also want to make sure to address questions that come up. And so if you have questions, if you can wait till the end or put them in a chat maybe, and we can go through them at the end. I want this to be as helpful as possible for everyone that's participating. So I would really like to address as many questions as possible. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen with you all. Hopefully, I'm sharing my screen with you all.
It's perfect.
Can you see, is your full screen
Yes, yes, we're in view mode. It's perfect.
Okay, perfect, great. So yes, a little bit about Fordham University. We are a mid-sized university that offers majors in liberal arts and sciences, as well as business. So you can study arts, business, communication, humanities, social science, and natural science at Fordham University. And we have 2 campuses that are based in New York City. So that is something that I think is very attractive to students, the opportunity to study right in New York City. We are not suburban, we are kind of right in the heart of the city. And you have here 2 different New York City maps. I'm going to talk a little bit about the map with the fun icons on it, but you can use whichever one is more helpful to you. 2 different kind of visual styles here. The two campuses of Fordham, one is located right in the heart of New York City. So if anyone has visited New York City, if you visited Times Square, if you visited Central Park, Wall Street, the Empire State Building, Lincoln Center, those iconic New York City destinations are all on the island of Manhattan. And Fordham has a campus right in the heart of the island of Manhattan. It's right next to Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts on the Upper West Side at 60th and Columbus. So we are just a block from Central Park. We are a block from the Columbus Circle subway stop, and we are literally adjacent to Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, which is a major performing arts center that has opera and ballet and dance and theater almost every night. For those of you who have kind of come to New York and seen Broadway shows, about 20 blocks north of the main section of Times Square and Broadway area. That campus has about 3,000 undergraduate students that live and study at Lincoln Center. The other campus is very different. It is also in New York City, but it is 85 acres of green space. So it is very green. It is very park-like. It feels more like a suburban American college campus with the big green open lawns and the ivy-covered stone buildings. That campus is called Rose Hill. It is located in the Bronx, which is one of the other boroughs of New York City. It's the F on the top of the map, the Rose Hill in the Bronx. And it's about a half an hour between Rose Hill and Lincoln Center, just to give you some sense of space. The Rose Hill campus is right next to Arthur Avenue, which is a very, very popular Italian neighborhood where all sorts of Italian specialty shops are located. We are right across the street from the Bronx Botanical Gardens, which is an incredibly beautiful cultural venue in New York City, and right down the street from the Bronx Zoo, or the Conservation Society. So we are one of several very large green spaces in the Bronx. And as I said, it's an 85-acre campus. So it takes about 20 minutes to walk from one side of the campus to the other, which for New York City is pretty unique. You'll see, I think, a couple of photos in this slideshow of the campus. But just to give you an idea of the geography of our campuses in New York City, I hope that these maps are helpful to you. There are about 7,000 undergraduate students at the Rose Hill Bronx campus. So that brings to a total the undergraduate population of Fordham to about 10,000 students. Overall, the university has just over 16,000 students on both campuses. We also have graduate programs in arts and science, business, education, social service, and law. Most of them are on the Lincoln Center campus, but the arts and science programs are on the Rose Hill campus. So students choose when they apply to Fordham which campus they're going to live and study at. So everybody would have a home campus, and if you're a residential student, which means that you're living in Fordham housing, then you have a home base, either Rose Hill or Lincoln Center, and you choose that on the Common App when you apply. We guarantee housing for all 4 years that you're an undergraduate student at Fordham if you apply and are given housing when you come in. All students from overseas are prioritized for housing opportunities. So we try to provide housing for everyone, but not all local students are we able to offer housing to. But if you come from overseas, we'll guarantee housing for all 4 years. And then if you want to take classes on the other campus, that's also possible. So we run a shuttle bus between the two campuses every half an hour going both directions. So you can live at Rose Hill in the Bronx, and you can take almost all your classes there. If you can take all your classes there if you want to, but should you one semester or a couple times want to take classes on the other campus, that opportunity is open to you, and it's very easy to get back and forth. So we'll talk a little bit more about academics and the course structure as we go on. As I mentioned at the start, I think New York City is an amazing place to be a college student. It is a main attraction for students coming to Fordham. Many of them want to become and remain New Yorkers. A lot of people that visit New York, I think, as tourists are really intrigued by the diversity, the tolerance, the incredible vibrancy of the city. And so many students choose to come back and study here at the university level. There are over 500,000 college students in New York City overall. And, Fordham is, as I said, about 16,000 of those, but there are many students at other schools as well. And our students really have the opportunity to take advantage of life in New York City. Our students are able to use the city really as a classroom in many ways. Our history students take advantage of the world-class museums Our biology students can do research at the Bronx Zoo. Our communication students can get incredible internships at CBS NBC Studios. So there's really kind of fantastic opportunities for students in the city. And there's a lot of fun things to do in the city as well. You know, incredible performances on Broadway, every major sporting, all sorts of major sporting events. We have sports teams from all sorts of different athletic sports. There are, you know, a fantastic diversity of restaurants for students to choose from. So there's really a lot to enjoy in the city. And, you know, as I mentioned, our students really take full advantage of that. Coming up next is going to be, I think, a 1-minute video that I'm hoping plays for you without too much of a trouble.
The persistence that never fades. The restlessness to care for others. To do more. To set the example by being it. In this city, our journey is accelerated with an energy overflowing all around us. To step outside and walk 8 million paths. For one moment, you can transform every path. The need to discover new places and new people. To open our minds to new perspectives. Nurture the good in everything we see. Because change is served by the people who live it. To question assumptions, uncover doubts, and erase any hesitation to act. To be people of conscience, competence, compassion, and commitment. Come to know the world and ourselves a little better each day. That's why we choose Fordham.
So that video I like because it highlights a couple of unique programs at Fordham. I don't think too many people would guess that we have a really excellent and competitive sailing team at our campus in New York City. I don't know that too many people associate sailing with New York City, but that's kind of a fantastic little tidbit of information about Fordham. And you see as well some of the dancers from our Bachelor of Fine Arts program in conjunction with the Alvin Ailey School, which is based at our Lincoln Center campus. It's a really, really top-notch modern dance BFA program, highly competitive program, and almost all of the graduates of that program go on to dance careers. So I'm glad you get to see a little bit of our dancers there. Okay, so when students are applying to the university, as I said on the Common App, you're going to choose your campus. You actually choose your campus and your college. We have a liberal arts and sciences college, Fordham College, Rose Hill, and Fordham College Lincoln Center at each of our 2 locations. And then we have the Gabelli School of Business, which has a set of programs at each of our 2 locations. So you can study psychology, you can study economics, you can study communications, you can study business at either of our campuses. There are some programs that are campus specific, our Bachelor of Fine Arts and Dance that I just mentioned, and our theater program. We have a dramatic theater program that has concentrations in performance, directing, playwriting, and a technical and design track. Those 2 programs, dance and theater, are only offered at our Lincoln Center Manhattan campus. And we have a fuller array of natural science subjects at our Rose Hill Bronx campus because we have more space for laboratories. So our physics, engineering physics, chemistry, biology programs are offered as full majors at Rose Hill. We have an integrated sciences program at Lincoln Center, as well as integrative neuroscience and environmental science on both campuses. Beyond those subjects, and with one caveat about difference in Gabelli business programs, which I'll talk about in a second, students can major in and do a full program at either campus. So if a student is interested in psychology, they can do the full program at Rose Hill or the full program at Lincoln Center, or as I mentioned before, they can take classes, you know, live at one campus and take classes on the other. So there's a lot of flexibility. We are definitely an institution that is grounded in the liberal arts. And so students have lots of chances to mix and match different subjects, You can be an economics major, you can minor in chemistry. You can be a philosophy major and you can minor in visual arts or music. You can double major in different areas. Students are really in the driver's seat. Students make a lot of individual academic choices, and we really like to give them the freedom to explore. If a student is interested in our business program, which is our most popular set of programs for students applying from overseas, the Gabelli School of Business has 2 different sets of offerings. At the Lincoln Center Manhattan campus, we only have 1 major in global business. And that program has a variety of concentrations that students can choose. One is finance, one is marketing related. So you can still study 2 of our more popular kind of general programs in the global business context, but the only major that students will receive at Lincoln Center is global business. At Rose Hill, all of our accounting programs are there, and we have a variety of different accounting majors, as well as full majors in marketing, entrepreneurship, information systems, and business administration and finance. So either location for business students is possible. It just depends a little bit on what they want their focus of study to be. And in general, what we say at Fordham about choosing a campus is to choose the environment that you think you're going to be most comfortable spending your 4 years of study, because we have many offerings at both campuses. And so you can usually find a program that matches your interests at either campus. And if there are more questions about the different campuses, we can certainly, talk more about that. I think sometimes it's confusing to people, but I'm happy to explain it more if there are questions. So I mentioned the kind of variety of different majors and minors that we have, and the opportunity for students to mix and match those different programs. I just want to mention briefly that we also have a number of accelerated degree programs. So, for example, within business, we have a Bachelor of Science, Master of Science in Accounting that students can get in 5 years. We also have a Bachelor of Science MBA program that students can complete in 5 years, instead of it being 4 undergraduate years of study and 2 graduate years. The same types of programs we offer in communications, we offer in a number of arts and sciences subjects, we offer in education, we offer in social service. So there are some real benefits to being part of a larger university as opposed to just a small liberal arts college, in that we frequently find students that are interested in going on for a second degree are able to start their second degree as an undergraduate and then complete the program in just 1 year. And a number of our students take advantage of that every year. You don't have to know when you're coming in, you don't have to plan for that, but it is a great opportunity for those that are interested. And so here are just a few examples of some of the majors that we offer at Fordham. You can find a full list on our website and explore a little bit of information about each major is provided on the academics section of our website. But all of these programs are great to kind of mix and match. I will highlight a couple of them for you. Fashion Studies is a very popular minor at our Lincoln Center campus. Many students choose that option. I think probably one of the most popular programs for business students is our accounting program. Computer science is a really increasingly popular major at Fordham. We have a fantastic program in cybersecurity, and we host a major cybersecurity conference every year. The head of the FBI in the US is a Fordham alum, and we host many important national security folks in the US at our Lincoln Center Cybersecurity Conference that happens annually there. We don't offer an engineering degree at Fordham, but we do have a couple programs that are interesting for students who are interested in perhaps the liberal arts and then possibly a graduate program in engineering. We have general theoretical physics, and then we also have an engineering physics major, which is exactly what I just described for students who want more liberal arts courses at an undergraduate level, but might be interested in going on for a degree in engineering. We offer a lot of the prerequisite courses that they would need. We offer a variety of different languages that students can take. And I would think the other thing that I could talk about a lot of these different programs. The other thing that I will highlight is our communications program. We have focuses in digital media, in film and television, in journalism, very popular sets of programs with really top-notch internship opportunities for students. So absolutely something that our students love to study. Fordham, I think, is known in New York City as a very community-oriented institution. For those of you that have visited New York, you know, it's a city of millions of people, and I think there are some great institutions of higher learning here. And I think if you were to kind of differentiate Fordham from among the other schools in New York City, one of the things that would differentiate us is the fact that we are very community-oriented. Both of our campuses are self-contained. You are not wandering around the city from one class to the next, or from your residence hall to an academic building. You are going to pass your friends on the campus. There are plenty of places to sit and hang out that are on the campus. We really do what we can to structure campuses that enhance the community feeling of the institution. And it is a very supportive place as well. So I think people that choose Fordham are choosing a campus and community that they really are actively want to be part of. And so we kind of continue to bring new community members in who foster that sense of community. So there are hundreds of clubs and organizations you can join on campus. We have a very, very active student government. We have a fantastic radio station at Rose Hill where our students do a lot of the programming. It's a professional radio station with professional DJs, but plays throughout New York City, but Fordham students kind of are very involved. All sorts of ways that students are involved physically, you know, in campus activities. We are also NCAA Division I for our athletics, which means we are the top level of intercollegiate athletics for the variety of different sports that we offer. And so you can come and cheer on the American football team, or what we would call our soccer team. You can cheer on. We have always a very competitive women's softball team. We have a fantastic water polo team in recent years with many international students representing Fordham in the pool. So all sorts of kind of great athletic activities, and we have a full set of athletic facilities for our students to take advantage of at our Rose Hill campus. So it's really you know, a whole other set of options that are open to our students. Fordham was founded about 180 years ago as a Jesuit university. The Jesuits are an order of Catholic priests that have founded educational institutions globally. They have about a 500-year tradition of establishing educational institutions, and the philosophy of education at Fordham is really rooted in that Jesuit philosophy of a broad liberal arts core curriculum. So students are taking classes and looking at the world from a variety of perspectives. We have very small classes at Fordham. We have about 10,000 undergraduate students, so we're considered a mid-sized university, but we don't have any big lectures of 200 or 300 students at all. The average class at Fordham is 23 students, so it is very discussion-oriented. And that is a very, very important part of Jesuit education. We think you don't really learn that well if you're sitting in the back of a huge lecture hall, but you do learn well when you come in and really debate and discuss topics actively every day. And so that is very important to the structure of our education. We also have a very strong emphasis, though no actual requirements for participation, we have a strong emphasis on community service and social justice. And we tend to attract a lot of students who are really active givers, giving back to the Fordham community and other communities in New York City and globally. So those are some of the kind of foundational pillars of the institution in terms of structure and what we offer. But the institution is at this point, you know, very diverse religiously as well as socioeconomically and culturally, geographically. So, you know, there's the Catholic foundation, the Jesuit foundation of the institution is really rooted in the philosophy of education. And we welcome and we really actively encourage students to come from every possible different background. We, again, think that that's a fantastic way to learn from other people who have had different life experience, sitting in the class and living in the residence halls with you. You see a little bit of some other statistics here, 1,500 students that participate in some type of community engaged learning class, some type of service learning, and a relatively small student to teacher ratio. So we really try to create an environment that supports a lot of individual attention for students and allows each student to kind of find their own success at Fordham. Okay, so you can come in undecided. Most international students that I talk to have kind of gone through educational systems where they've been trained to know a little bit better than American students about kind of what they want to study at university. But it's fine if you don't know. You can be undecided and you can decide once you come to the institution. We have plenty of classes in our core to start you off. We offer lots of undergraduate research opportunities, both on campus with faculty, off campus through a science consortium that we are part of with 2 area hospitals in the Bronx, as well as the Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Gardens. And we partner with other research institutes in New York City for our students to get some research experience as well. Excuse me, we also have a really excellent opportunity for students who have a research project of their own that they want to develop. And so we fund a lot of student research projects. It is a competitive program, so it's not necessarily a guarantee that you get funding, but students every year can put forward a proposal for funding for their own research that they can do over the summer, either at Fordham or elsewhere. And that program has seen more and more funding opportunities for students as the years have gone on. So it's a really fantastic set of opportunities. And our students do everything from, detailed chemical research to researching, medieval religious practice to students. I know the student who did a photography project on American bowling alleys of the 1950s and 60s. So really, really, sky's the limit, and some really creative, wonderful projects that have been funded by Fordham. Many of our students study abroad. Almost 50% of our students do some type of study abroad in their 4 years with us, and almost everyone takes advantage of the fantastic internship opportunities in New York City. As you can imagine, if you are a business student, you have every major World Bank, every major accounting company, all sorts of financial institutions on Wall Street for our students that they can participate in internships with. I alluded before to fantastic communications internships, and our students literally just walk, a few blocks south of the Lincoln Center campus, and they're at, Top of the Rock, and they're at NBC Studios, and they're, interning at, the morning Today Show. If you are interested in general, digital media, there are 10,000 media outlets sent in New York City. I mean, it's really kind of unbelievable. If you're interested in international relations, and we have three different majors that for students that are interested in international relations or international studies, the United Nations is just across town from our Lincoln Center campus. And so students can intern at all sorts of United Nations, non-governmental organizations. So, I mean, just a few examples. It's really unbelievably diverse. Almost all of our students do at least one internship, and I know a number of students that have done 2 or 3 internships while they've been at Fordham. So yes, just again, some photos of our study abroad program. We have a center in London, a program in Granada, and then we partner with a number of international educational organizations and other universities to offer students a variety of different types of experiences. So yes, on the career front, in addition to the internship opportunities, we offer a full career services office. They sponsor career fairs. They've sponsored, job and internship fairs. They'll help students put their resume together, find a Fordham alum in the New York City area to have an informational interview with. The Handshake platform is a job and internship listing that has thousands of opportunities for our students. And we have, in the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure exactly when it started, Fordham has fostered a specific internship program at New York cultural institutions. And so a variety of different cultural organizations, nonprofits, museums, Fordham has partnered specifically to develop internships just for our students. And those come out kind of in every few weeks via email to the community and announce the opportunities to students. Really, again, kind of very high level internships just reserved for students from Fordham. No other New York City university has those opportunities. And all of this preparation, the great small classroom theoretical discussions paired with the practical experience that most of our students are able to get through internships and research and things like that, makes it a very successful academic program. And almost all our students get jobs, and they get jobs pretty quickly. 96% of our class of 2022 was either enrolled in a graduate school, working, doing some type of community service program or a military program within 6 months of graduation, which is, we think really, really fantastic. And I think our students really are a testament to the quality of education and preparedness that Fordham offers. I will talk a little bit, I'm just checking my time, a little bit about the application process to Fordham, and then get to your questions if you have them. You will see on this slide that Fordham offers a variety of different application opportunities. We offer both early action and early decision, November 1 deadlines. For those of you, I think you'll probably all know, but early action is the non-binding option. You get a decision in mid-December, but you're not committing to Fordham. If Fordham is absolutely your number one choice for a university, you can apply early decision, because if you are admitted, you will come to Fordham. That is a binding opportunity, but both programs offer the same time frame. You apply by November 1 and you receive a decision in mid-December. Priority performance also has a November 1 deadline. That program, that is really for our dance and theater programs, which those are the only programs you absolutely have to know what you want to major in when you start, because you are applying specifically for those programs, and you must audition or interview for all of those programs. And I will not today to really talk about the details of those programs application. There's a lot of detailed information on our website. You really need to take the time to read through that if you are interested in either of those programs, and I'm happy to answer questions via email, but it's a lot to go over, in something like this. And then for students who are ready to apply for our regular decision round, we used to say January 1, we're trying to push it to the first Monday in January now. And so I'm not exactly sure what that is for 2022. It was January 3rd for 2023, but right around then. So early January, you'd be applying for regular decision, and those decisions are shared usually somewhere between March 15th and April 1st. Fordham is a Common App school, so we expect students to submit the Common application. That is the only application we accept. And we have the standard essay that's part of the Common App with 6 or 7 different prompts that you can choose from. And we only have one optional short answer, so we make that easy on people. And we are currently not requiring SAT or ACT through 2024. We're expecting this summer to get an update on that from my boss, who's the head of enrollment. I'm hoping that we are test optional far into the future, forever, but right now we only know about 2024. And so anyone who's applying for next year does not have to submit SAT, ACT. At Fordham, we are truly test optional, so you can receive any of our scholarships. You can be nominated for our honors programs. There is nothing different for students who submit versus don't submit the SAT. So I am very actively encouraging international students to not submit SAT, ACT. Don't put your time into that test if you can put your time into having really good grades and being otherwise involved in your community. You might get different advice from different institutions, but at Fordham, we absolutely don't need the results of those tests when you're applying to us. That said, you can submit either of those sets of test scores to us should you want to. With regard to other requirements for the application, they're pretty standard. We would expect a high school transcript, and in the US, we look for 9th through 12th grade. We need at least 1 letter of recommendation. You can send up to 3. And for students for whom English is not a first language, we would ask you to submit results from a TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo DET test. We try to give you lots of options so that it's not too much of a hardship to take those tests. And on here you have kind of there's no requirement for students in an IB program. We don't have a cutoff number of points. The average for incoming students in recent years has been in the mid-30s. So that's really just an FYI point of information, not a cutoff. And with regard to financial assistance, Fordham is a private institution in New York City, so it is a significant financial undertaking to attend. We are aware of that. We do try to provide financial assistance to students when possible. And we have kind of 2 different programs. I'll speak to the program for international students. I'm happy again to answer questions for US citizens, but I'm guessing most of the audience is Turkish citizens. So for international students, we have both merit scholarships and need-based financial aid, and they are 2 pretty different programs. Our merit scholarships, there's no separate application. If you're going to be admitted to Fordham, you will automatically be considered for our merit scholarships. They are competitive scholarships. So usually the top maybe 20% of the international applicant pool will receive some type of award, but you don't have to do anything to get it, which is the good part. Those awards range from about $10,000 to $20,000 per year. And students are notified usually at the time they're admitted or shortly thereafter if they have qualified for one of those scholarships. The other program is our need-based financial aid program, and this is relatively new at Fordham. It's about 6 years old now. Students do have to apply. They have to put up their hand and on the Common App say, yes, they're applying for financial aid, and then complete the CSS profile by the time that by the deadline for their application. So if they're applying early action or early decision, the CSS profile must be submitted by November 1. If you're applying for regular decision, it must be submitted by early January. And then it's a need-aware application review process. So we look at the academic application and we look at the financial application together. This is a very competitive program. So we got last year about 2,000 applications for about 150 spots, about 150 awards. About 7 to 8% of the students that apply are admitted with an award, but the awards can range up to the full cost of tuition. So not the full cost of attendance, which would include room and board and travel and other things, but the full cost of tuition, which right now at Fordham is about $60,000 per year. And what we say to families is we expect you at a minimum to be able to cover room and board, travel, insurance, books, kind of everything but tuition. And then you could potentially be eligible for this award. So we usually say you have to have a minimum of $30,000 per year in order to qualify. You can qualify and still not get the award because it is a very competitive award. So they're usually pretty strong students that qualify. We do have students from Turkey that we have given this award to before, and we have several that have come to Fordham on it. So it is very possible, but just students need to know it's highly competitive. So I hope that's clear. Again, more than happy to answer questions, but I hope that gives you the basic information. There is more detailed information on our website about all of this, of course. And so I think this is just, maybe something we can talk more about in terms of questions. We have a holistic application review process at Fordham. So we do look at students' academic performance. We look at grades, but we also look at what type of community member students are. As I mentioned earlier, we are a very community-oriented place. So we are actively looking for students who are going to bring their passions onto our campuses, be really active members of the community, and enhance the community that we are trying to foster. So that's really important to us. And yeah, just a couple other notes on essays if people have questions about the essay. If I think that's the last, yeah. So I think I'm close to being on time. I can probably close out of the slideshow. There we go. And see if people have any questions for me. I see that there is one question in the chat. So if that's okay, can I go to that one first?
Sure.
Okay. Can you elaborate on or give a few examples of your partner organizations? Perhaps the partner organizations that we referenced on the slide that talked about kind of employability or employment information. So we have, I mentioned a little bit about the cultural institutions that Fordham has partnered with in recent years. With regard to research, we have a Bronx Science Consortium. And so we have partnered with a couple area hospitals in the Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Gardens. And for anyone who doesn't know, the Bronx Zoo is one of the best conservation societies in the world. And we had a student, this is going back a few years, but dating myself, we had a student a few years ago who participated as an undergraduate in a research project with Bronx Zoo biologists on the mating habit of flamingos, of all things. And yeah, I mean, who knew? Apparently they don't mate well in captivity. Anyway, it was a big project. This person ended up getting listed as, on several research papers that were published with biologists with, 30, 40 years of experience at the Bronx Conservation Society. So not just kind of a top level person in New York City, but really a top level person in the world. that this student got to kind of do research with. So just another example. I know our business school also sets up specific internships with KPMG, for example. There are 4 slots that are reserved for Fordham students to do internships every semester at KPMG. And so you are competing against your peers at Fordham, but no one from NYU is going to get that internship. That's only for Fordham students. And so we have a number of those types of partnerships that we have set up at a variety of different types of organizations, and it does vary. I know our humanitarian studies program, which is for students that are interested in potentially going into international development work. It's a really fantastic program at Fordham, and it partners with our Institute of International Humanitarian Development that we have offered training to development workers for many years throughout the world. And that program, because we have provided training for so many different people, we have nonprofit, non-governmental organizations that are partners with Fordham in both providing that training and kind of providing kind of on the ground research opportunities for students in that program. So our undergraduate students benefit from that as well, and those partnerships as well. And so students, again, kind of have really, really fantastic hands-on experiences in what is actually a very competitive field with top people in the field globally. So I hope that helps a little bit, a few examples anyway.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, I think so.
Your admission rates, how competitive are they? Do they vary by department as kids apply to computer science versus others like social sciences? Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Because at Fordham, you can actually tell us you're interested in computer science, but end up as a philosophy major, because we're truly liberal arts base, and we allow students to do a lot of kind of changing their mind, or maybe it's better phrased as kind of honing their interests. Once they're a university student with us, I don't have individual admission rates for different departments. Overall, our admission rate is usually about 45%. The one program, our dance and theater programs are much more competitive than that. They're probably between 10 and 20% for those interested in those programs. And then if you're applying for need-based financial aid, I already mentioned that's very competitive for any major, just because the program is competitive. The only difference that I would say academically is that our Gabelli School of Business at Lincoln Center Global Business Program, because it is a small cohort program, simply because of numbers, that program is a little bit more competitive. And we do expect students, because of the competitiveness, to have either more advanced math and pretty strong grades in math. But that's the only program, and I don't think it's that different. Maybe it's between 35 and 40%. It's it's not like 5% or.
Yeah.
So does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
There's a new question in the meeting chat.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Tuition fees.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So again, we don't charge different tuition fees per department. There are sometimes different fees kind of embedded. So if you are a chemistry major, you might have lab fees every semester, which would nominally increase the costs of attendance. But it's not a different fee for chemistry versus business administration versus philosophy, for example. The current, I'm trying to have to go to our website. The current tuition right now is about $60,000 per year, and the total cost of attendance is probably between $85,000 and $90,000. The room and board is usually just over $20,000 for housing on either campus. Lincoln Center ends up being a little bit more expensive, but not much. And then for a basic meal plan, you can dial back a meal plan or dial up a meal plan depending on where you're living and what your needs are. But initially, all first-year students will have a meal plan.
So living expenses are a little bit higher than U.S. average because of location. Living
expenses are definitely higher than the U.S. average, undoubtedly. You are getting to live at 60th and Columbus on the Upper West Side of Manhattan in a 22-story building with floor-to-ceiling views of New York City. So yes, you're paying a little bit more for that, but it's a experience of a lifetime. If anyone has the chance, I think both our campuses have incredible opportunities for viewing. Everybody will love Rose Hill in terms of it is very beautiful, and I promise it will take you by surprise. Nobody expects the Bronx to be as beautiful as Rose Hill is, and it is beautiful. I promise you it is beautiful. And if you have the chance to do a tour at our Lincoln Center campus, you got to do the tour just to get into the sample room that you will see the views of New York City from the top floor of the student residence hall. It's a first-year student residence hall, so it's all first-year students at Lincoln Center. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I wanted that for my office. They didn't give it to me, of course, but I'm kidding. No, it's really great. Both campuses, I think, have a lot to offer in different ways, but those are the green space at Rose Hill and the view of the city at Lincoln Center is amazing.
Any other questions?
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, actually, I have a few unrelated questions. The first one being do you have any support mechanisms for LD or ND students?
Yes, of course. We have actually a whole office for students with disabilities. It's a disability services office. We definitely encourage students as soon as they're admitted to the university to get in touch with the Office of Disability Services and have a conversation, fill out a form, whatever it is that they require for different people to find out what type of services Fordham can offer. Because I think it varies widely depending on what type of documentation students have, particularly on the international front. Sometimes students have to get something different than they have had in their home countries. And so we absolutely will consider providing services, but what Fordham will offer varies depending on what students' needs are. And I think it varies quite a bit. So, don't wait to get on that and have that conversation as soon as you know you're admitted. And I think that's your best chance of kind of figuring out whether or not Fordham can match what your needs are.
Okay, thank you. And another question would be, do you have any religion-based course requirements?
Yep. Okay. Great question. So yes, I mentioned Fordham was founded as a Jesuit school. We have a core curriculum that students take. Everybody that comes to Fordham, whether you're a chemistry major, you're an art major, you're a marketing major, everybody's going to take some history, some philosophy, theology, English, language, art, math. So natural science, social science. So there's pretty broad core curriculum. Embedded in that are 2 theology classes, which are not doctrine-based classes, but they are to have students do some exploring. One is called Faith and Critical Reason, and it actually explores how various religions have reconciled those different ideas historically. And the other is a textual analysis class. And so you choose, as the student, you choose whether you want to study Buddhist texts or Hindu texts or Islamic texts. It's really up to you, but you will do it's kind of a little bit of like history and culture, but through textual analysis.
Thank you. One final question.
Sure.
What's your ED rate compared to your regular admission rate?
Yeah, so I don't know that exactly, and I probably should. We definitely have a slightly higher admission rate for early decision, but we also don't have a huge ED pool. So unlike some institutions that have a very big pool and are trying to get a huge percentage of their class in early decision, Fordham has a few hundred students that apply ED. So it ends up being about 10% of our class. Overall, it's a slightly higher admit rate, but I'd have to research that. You email me that, and I will get you that.
Okay,
Thank
you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
We do track CDS data, so if it's published on there, we'll just look at it from there.
Yeah, it's a data point I should probably know. I fully acknowledge.
We can look it up.
Yeah, it's out there. I'm sure it's in something that I have. I just don't have it in my head. So
Mehmetcan is asking about scholarships again. I think.
Okay, so yes, so the tuition was about $59,000, and I think it's about 61 for now this class coming in. So the maximum award that an international student can receive through our need-based financial aid program is that full cost of tuition, so up to $60,000. Not everybody will receive that amount because the information on the CSS profile that individual families are supplying is going to vary. And so some people receive an award of $50,000, some people $35,000, it varies. But we offered a number of awards this year over $50,000. In terms of just scholarship, merit scholarship, without the need-based financial aid program, the maximum award is $20,000. At least
And
right
you stack those, or
No.
No.
You
Okay.
get one or the other. Everybody
Okay.
that's qualifying for the need-based financial aid program is the level of our scholars.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Oh, it's obvious to me, but I think there are people in the room who are wondering about APs, if they're not in an IB program, because you talked about the IPs like mid-30s. We have students taking their AP exams. Can you discuss that a tiny bit? What you guys look for?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Fordham does offer a variety of like credit and advanced placement for usually grades of 4 or 5 on different AP exams. We, similar to IB in terms of, we're not looking for a specific number of IB points. We also don't look for a specific number of AP courses that students, have to take in order to qualify for admission. Everybody's school is different in terms of what they offer and what's available to them. So we try to do a very contextual application review. And I would say this particularly on the international front, we have students that apply to Fordham every year from about 100 different countries. And so some students have lots of choices and some students have no choices. And so we certainly don't penalize a student that has no choices for not taking something that, someone with dozens of choices could have. So we really try to look at each application at kind of where the student's coming from, what the school offers, what kind of a typical curriculum would be, and then what type of rigor that the curriculum of the student that's applying, how rigorous their curriculum is, and then how well they did in that program. So I would say that students that have a full complement of AP, 15, 16 different AP courses offered at their school, we would generally expect a student to take some AP courses, but we don't expect, every student to have taken, 5 classes, 3 of them science, et cetera. It's more flexible than that. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have all the counselors asking all the questions. We need more kids to speak up, but anyway.
I hope I haven't put everybody else to sleep.
No, we appreciate this. We're very excited about Fordham. We have admits last year, so we have hopefully we'll have kids applying this year. So we all want to find out more, and we're recording this hopefully, right, and others will be able to view it on an ongoing basis as well.
Right.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
Do you have any computer science graduates in mind who have gone off to work in companies that are associated with your university? Because in job opportunities, you mostly mentioned about business. However, that isn't the major I'm hoping to pursue. So I was hoping for another example, hopefully, if you don't mind.
You're gonna laugh at this example, actually. But one of my colleagues who works with me at Fordham, her son went through the computer science major, got a master's in cybersecurity, and I actually don't know who he ended up working for, but he had 6 job offers before he graduated. So I think there are plenty of opportunities for connection. That is an incredibly popular program. It is an incredibly marketable degree, and I think Fordham does it really well. And I think Fordham's pretty well known for doing it well. I don't kind of have, a famous person in mind, and I'd have to kind of see, ask them for a list of places where our graduates have gone on to work. But just off the top of my head, that's the first. She was very proud. She was a very proud mom. you know, there seem to be, they always seem to be competing for our graduates more so than our graduates competing for jobs. I'm certainly not going to guarantee you that, but I think if you do well in that program, I have been told that it has very, very positive outcomes. So we do have on our website actually a list of employers. If you go to the undergraduate admissions website, I'm not sure what the exact tab is, but I think it says outcomes. And we have information about, you know, admit rates to US law school and medical school and companies that our students go on to get employed with, like the largest number of employers. Some of that information is listed there, as well as the statistic that I showed you, like 96% of our class of 2022 is employed or in grad school within 6 months. So other statistics like that, and some employers are listed there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that helps enough.
Any questions?
No.
Yep, I think we've just reached the end of our time. Well, thank you. So, well, we have all gained information about Fordham University, a great institution that offers both a traditional campus and the rural environment, which is amazing, and in addition to strong academic credentials. And it's amazing that the Fordham students can utilize all the amenities offered by the New York City in a supportive environment with small inclusive classes and great research opportunities for undergraduate students. So before we close, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Monica Esser, Fordham University's Director of International Initiatives, for setting aside the time and talking to us and answering our questions. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you so much for having me. It really was a pleasure. I hope it was helpful.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
John.
great night, everyone.
Thank
You too. Have a good day. Bye.